We are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another thrilling week here in planet Earth. How did I sign up for this? Who signed me up for this whole Earth thing? But good to see my fellow Earthlings here. I do see a few of you. We got Allie and John, Daisy, Emma, Ivier, Linda, Mark, Sandy, Virginia, Carl. Welcome, you guys, to another week here inside our Mastermind group. We got a lot going on. My goodness. And for anyone who's wondering, yes, I am still traveling, which is evident. I can do, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and announce a couple of things. In fact, we've got Emma on here right now. So Emma and Neil host our e-commerce work group for all of our friends here who are engaging in e-commerce. Tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern US time. That's 8 p.m. GMT, or actually BST, right? British Summer Time. Right, Emma? Do we have a topic for today? Emma, you and Neil, what are you guys doing today? Do you know?
Yeah, last time we went through a listing using Scribbles and Helium-10, and I think a few people on the session wanted to be guinea pigs and go through their listings. So that's what we're going to do tonight.
Oh, that's so good. That is so good. Yeah, you know what? If I was listing products on Amazon right now, I would love to be in the hot seat on that. So everybody tune in to that, going through listings live. That is really cool. That's where the rubber meets the road, right? Let's take a look at, what you're putting out there and see, what we think of it. So good times. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern US time tonight, we're going to be going through chapter 4 through 7 of this book. Okay, so we did the preface through chapter 3 last week. If you don't already have a copy of this, there's a link inside your members site where you can go right to Amazon, Kindle, download it. We're on chapters 4 through 7 tonight. And this week on Wednesday, we will have Mandy back for our Books for Britain, right? So they'll be catching up. All of our friends across the pond who prefer that time zone. You can, of course, watch the replays inside the members site. We've got all the recordings of the Monday night sessions as well. So that being said, here's where my brain is going this morning. I was just watching a video from someone who was talking about being all excited to get started in this new thing, business or lifestyle, and you can really fill in the blank with whatever, any new endeavor or new life change kind of stuff. We're going to create something new. This could be a marriage. This could be, once again, a business. This could apply to all kinds of different things. And they were talking about how that they've seen there's like this honeymoon phase, I suppose, where you're all excited, you're enthusiastic, right? And then there's this dip. And it seems to be something that they regularly experience, or that people in general regularly experience. So after the novelty of the newness of something wears off, there's this dip. And there could be a bit of, there's a lower emotional state, right? When we talk about a dip, we're not just talking about statistics, but we're talking about how someone feels about something, right? And our thoughts drive our feelings, and our feelings drive our actions, right? We've read about this in other books that we've already read, right? Like, what's his name? Weldon Long, right? Power of Consistency. He puts that whole formula out there, right? Here's the thoughts, here's the feelings, here's the actions, here's the results. And then there's what you think about the results, which have feelings, right? Actions, more results. So that can be an upward spiral or a downward spiral. But anyway, this person was noticing they were in that downward spiral. And this is something that had recurred again and again in their life in various areas of life. And then they also noticed that there is, the incline. So you're not just staying in the trough the whole time or in a rut, but then there's the incline. But what does it take to get back deliberately on that incline? And how long, and this is a question that a lot of people, I guess, don't answer, how long do I stay in that trough or in that rut before I regain that enthusiasm? It's not a novelty thing anymore, but now it's a mature enthusiasm, and now we can be steady with that. Have any of you experienced this, or can you think of an area of your life perhaps where you are experiencing that right now? I mean, let's say you're new in business, and I know we got a lot of business people here, And some of you are newer than others in different arenas or different expressions of business. There's lots of different ways you can do that, right? And so, wow, that sounds great. Let me do that. Let me go sell stuff on Amazon. Let me go do this marketing deal. Let me go, start this coaching business. Okay, great. Sounds awesome. And it is. It's awesome. But then what? Right? You get to confront all the realities of getting things going. So my mind right now is going to something that was talked about in the very famous, at least I think I've made it famous. I've made it famous, at least here in this group, a lecture given by Albert E. N. Gray called The Common Denominator of Success. You've all heard me talk about this, where Gray talked about how the common denominator of success is that successful people have formed the habit of doing things their failures don't like to do. He went further. So if you got a transcript of that, I know there's a copy of it in our Facebook group. But he went further because he was addressing a group of sales managers in Prudential at the time. That was his post. He was some, heavyweight in insurance, and he was talking about what to do if your sales teams are in a slump. And I thought this was very interesting, right? Because people have a lot of different management styles, and of course, we're talking about managing ourselves. Really, this conversation comes down to how we manage ourselves, which can then inform and instruct how we manage others too, so assuming you've got subordinates and you're not, just doing the solopreneur thing. But if you can't manage yourself, well, do you really have qualifications to manage others? That's an interesting consideration. So here's what he was talking about. He's like, look, guys, don't force production, like, cracking the whip and causing, inter or intra department, competition and all this, pissing matches and whatever. The way to get production up, he said, is to get refocused on purpose. Why are we showing up here in the first place, right? What's the purpose of all this? And you can ask yourself that question. Why am I showing up? Why did I decide to start this business? Why did I decide to go on this honeymoon, get married, start my fitness regimen? What else? Do the, I don't know, maybe like a New Year's resolution kind of a thing, some new area of endeavor, some new intention. Or so let me say this, maybe it's not a new intention, but it's new action based on an intention, which you may or may not have had for a while now. In other words, you're going deliberately in a direction that you've decided you want to go in your life. So let's just remember for a minute, what is the intent there? What is the purpose of all that, right? In the case of insurance, right? So I'm not an insurance guy. I know we've got some insurance guys here, but in the case of that, what is the purpose of that insurance, right? What is the benefit that we're delivering to our clients, to the public, right? Why are we showing up here in the first place? Can we remember what that is, right? And then of course there's other purposes too, like everybody getting paid. That's nice, right? That's on purpose for us to get paid. That's good. I got a friend in the consulting field who has as his policy, the policy for his firm is always do great work and always get paid. There's no charity cases. Always do great work and always get paid. So can we remember what those purposes are? And immediately when we start thinking on our purposes, we start to see more possibilities. See if this shakes out for you, right? So in any game, like this new game perhaps that you've taken on called, fitness or marriage or business or whatever the game is, right? So in any game, there's a purpose, right? And purpose, let's say, for example, in a game that we can look at, like on a field, right? Like a football game or something, right? You've got a purpose, which is to move the ball over there and to not let the ball move over there, to have an effect on the opponent, but not to receive an effect from the opponent, right? So you've got that whole purpose of the game. And then there's the freedom to move around the field, and there's other freedoms or abilities or possibilities, things you can do on that field. And then there's also, barriers, things that you can't do, right? So you can't walk through that other player. He's 300 pounds and he's going to tackle you. You can't go off the field right? You can't hold the ball while you're, what's it called, traveling in basketball, right? You gotta keep the ball, bouncing, right? You can't hold the ball, right? So different games obviously have different rules or barriers or stops. So we've got a purpose for all this, and we've got all the things we can do, and we've got all the things we can't do. And typically, when there's that slump, and see if this shakes out for you, typically it's because I've had my attention fixated, whether I wanted to or not, on the barriers and not on all the possibilities and the freedoms, and certainly not on the purpose, just on all the things that could stop me. Now, what did Henry Ford say? He said, obstacles are those frightful things we see when we take our eyes off the goal. There it is. There it is. So he just said, essentially, what Albert Gray was saying is, if you want to increase production, refocus on purpose, goals, intention, right? Why? Okay, so the why precedes the what and the how. Okay, so we refocus on the why, and then we're not fixated on the barriers, the problems, the stops. They still exist, right? So I'm not, in some new age sense, running down the football field and denying the existence of blockers or tacklers or linebackers or whatever their positions are, right? It's not, oh, look at me, I've transcended the physical universe here, and I'm just going to, effortlessly glide on, my rainbow and my unicorn into the goal. No, but we're not fixating our attention on the stops, on the barriers. Does this make sense? In other words, we're giving ourselves a bit more balance in our use of attention, this is really the crux of it, right? It's like you get what you focus on. So no wonder you've been in a slump, huh? Right? You just keep looking at all the problems. Well, guess what you get? And that's real. Of course it's real. You keep validating it. You keep saying it's real. You keep looking at the problems, and you get to have that. It takes quite a bit of, well, let me say this. We could stay in that slump for a while, and we could just get to the point where we just say, oh, screw it, right? And then throw in the towel. And this is what most people do. They throw in the towel. Well, I guess I'm just not cut out for this. It's been 48 days, and I still haven't made $1 million. I know that sounds ridiculous, okay? But think about now quantities, right? That's pretty arbitrary. Quantities of time, quantities of money, that's pretty arbitrary. So the will to give up, the will to fail and throw in the towel, so to speak, that's based on the individual, not based on quantities. So we could succumb to that. We could throw in the towel, or we could just say, you know what, I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna persevere. And it's friggin' miserable, but damn it, I shall not give up. That doesn't sound fun. And you may be in that spot for a little bit. And if you've got good endurance, I have good endurance, by the way. I don't know if I get a trophy for that, or if anyone wants to give me an award. I haven't gotten one yet. John can endure a lot of crap. Hooray for John. I'd rather have the result, right? So I could sit there and I guess acknowledge that, I'm going to persist. And yeah, there's such a thing as perseverance, and there's a time for that. But to what end? To the end of figuring out the solution. And to being able to see it, That's it. And so that's the second thing we could do, is we could persist. But there's going to be a point, whether you persist long or short, there's going to be a point, if you're going to get out of the rut, where you refocus on purpose and you start seeing things you can do. Here are my abilities, my freedoms. I can move over that side of the field. I can carry the ball that way. I can throw the ball. You can have new considerations, new possibilities based on your recognition that these barriers aren't everything, that the purpose is why we're here. And so we start to get creative ideas. We stop fixating on the stops, and we start having more of a free flow of thought. Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich talked about the sixth sense. And of course, you develop all these other principles, and then you develop the sixth sense. He talked about these hunches, right, that you get. And the circumstances could be identical. Identical. Think about this. How many people who have engaged in, let's say, for example, e-commerce, right? So Emma and Neil are going to be doing e-commerce at 3 o'clock. So how many people who have engaged in e-commerce, let's say 1 year ago, okay, how many have succeeded and reached goals with it? And then how many have not done that, right? So same circumstances, right? Same marketplace. We're talking about the internet. There's not two internets, although actually there is a decentralized version of the internet that's being worked on. Another story, but right now, let's say we're dealing with one internet, and yes, there are variables, right? Like, oh, Adrian, for example, is in the Cayman Islands, right? And there's different jurisdictions and abilities there in terms of jurisdiction, versus someone in England or the United States or Australia or South Africa or wherever, right? So there are different circumstances. We don't all have a cookie cutter, approach or system that we're engaging in. But okay, we can also see people with super, almost identical circumstances have different results with it. So what did we focus on? And you may also say, well, maybe, hold on a second, John, because maybe this person had additional resources. Well, resources are also circumstances. Okay, but I can tell you that if we're fixating more on our purpose, why we show up in the first place, do you think it's possible that we could attract additional resources if we just keep thinking about, this is where I'm going, I'm going to figure out a way to do this, I'm going to get it done? Are we not more apt to attract pleasing circumstances? James Allen said, man cannot control his circumstances, but he can control his thoughts, and therefore indirectly but surely shape his circumstances. So what's my role in all this? My role in all this is to remember who I am and where I'm going. If I don't know where I'm going, I've got no shot. Many of us, we've had this conversation before, right? And we're talking about, launching businesses and strategies and all this. There is one thing that makes everything else possible. And that is the purpose. And that is knowing where you're going, not just hoping or believing, but knowing, which is something you do, you build that up on a gradient. That's not, hey, I'm enlightened and I know. Okay. But it's something like with all the things that we talk about here in this group again and again, sitting there, getting quiet, reading your goals, visualizing that, having the goal card on you if you use that method, or having it in your phone with the notes program, right? So you can look at it throughout the day, right? You can recite that. There's things that we can affirm to ourselves every day in every way. I'm getting better and better. And then we can, guess what? We could start attracting evidence and actually recognizing it. We can actually see the evidence of that. The more we consider these words or affirmations or the visualization, the more we consider that, the more it actually shows up in our life. I mean, if you haven't tried this out for yourself, please do. It's so obvious, I think, when you've been doing it for a while. If you just keep thinking about the purposes and stop looking at just the barriers, you're going to find you've got more freedom. You're going to find that there's circumstances that show up for you, but you can't be vague about the purpose. I think when people get married, that's not very vague, right? That's kind of unvague, right? I don't see anything vague about that. At least I don't. I'm sure there's some people who would say, yeah, I'm kind of vague on what it means to be married. Okay, I'm not vague about that. My wife, Shannon, certainly is not vague. So there's purposes for that. And there's freedoms and there's barriers, right? Same thing. We could see it in business. We could see it in marriage. We could see it in anything that we're looking to do. I remember when I first picked up the guitar, I was thinking, you know what, damn it, I'm going to play guitar. And the purpose was to, actually make music with this. The the freedom to actually put hands on guitar and to, the ability to, do mechanical movements on it and to make sounds happen. Yep, that's there. The problem, the stops, the barriers, yeah, those are there too, right? I'm thinking of this melody and the fingers ain't doing it. Right? That's just a training issue. And then I practiced, and then guess what? I could do it, right? And if I practice some more, I could do it even better, stronger, faster. But I won't practice if it's not an on-purpose thing for me to do. Now we're talking about something in this case that is, more of a hobby, diversion. I'm not, nor do I intend to be a professional guitarist. Some people are, okay? They practice a lot more than me too, by the way. And they've been doing it for years and years, right? For me, it's fun. Hey, I like heavy metal. Look at my guitar, right? I got a little Marshall amplifier. I used to have a whole Marshall stack in my office. I can only turn it up to like one, and then, the windows would start shaking. Anybody know what a Marshall stack is? Yeah. So I sold it. I sold it to some rockers. They were doing a band and they needed another guitar amp. I was like, you know what? Come take it. It's like, no, this thing's never seen the stage. Just seen the inside of my office. I dust it off sometimes. Sometimes I get it up to 2 on the volume, right? And that's pretty much it. So anyway, is this resonating with any of you? I'd love to hear from you. This is how we get out of a slump. We refocus on purposes. We start seeing the things that we could do and stop fixating on the things that we can't. And then our production goes up incrementally at first, but then so does our morale. So does our emotional state, right? The idea that you can lift yourself up out of that morass of, being stopped, that's very real. And it starts with purpose, action, right? You get focused, take action, you get results, feel better. Look at that. Oh yeah, all right, I can do that action now. And up and up and up we go. Linda's got the floor. Linda, Andre, how are you, my friend? Come on, Linda. Come on.
Oh, okay, sorry, I lost my internet for a second. Great topic, John. I've been working on my purpose, and a few weeks ago I was like in a state of chaos and just did the meditation, settled my mind.
I'm not hearing Linda. Mark, can you hear me? Can you hear Linda? Okay, Linda, you're gone. Linda. Oh, I heard something.
Can you hear me now?
I got you now. Yep.
Okay. So did you hear anything I said or?
No, start over.
No. Okay. So anyways, great subject. I've been working on my purpose, my focused purpose, I should say.
Okay. We lost Linda again. I'm sorry, Linda. So you've been working on your purpose. I'm actually curious as to what that means. Identifying it or clarifying it for your own benefit, like vocalizing it or writing it down. Like, what do you mean working on your purpose?
Well, like my specific purpose, like my lane, trying to find my lane.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys talk about branding yourself. So I'm working on trying to figure that out. And just writing my goals down every day, like you guys say, like I've been doing that. I took the challenge and I've been writing them down every day, and every day I get clearer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm feeling so much better. And like you said, just have the faith, for me, the blocking is, well, how is this going to how can I do this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about this. I don't know about that. How am I going to do this? And just having the faith that it's gonna just present itself. And when it does, I'll take action on it. And I just need to do more action.
Okay. Can I offer you some perspective?
Yes.
Great. So the purpose precedes the doing, right? So you're finding your lane. To me, that sounds like you're focused on the doing. Okay. But the purpose is part of the being. Be
Okay.
and then do and then have. Right. So like a lot of people get stopped in the doing part because they're not doing, and then they try to force solutions and do stuff, even though they haven't quite become the being yet who would have the result, right? So remember, be, do, and have, always in that order. So then, all right, what's the purpose of Linda? And this is a huge question, and you may not have a direct answer, right? So if you asked me, John, why do you show up here on Earth and do this whole John thing to expand prosperity and prosperity consciousness for as many people as I can touch in my time here? That's why I do what I do. That's why I choose the lanes that I choose. Okay, so here's methods, plural, to fulfill an overarching purpose. Okay, so does that part make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. So then I would say if we're going to work on our purpose, then it's going to be more of like a Steve Covey approach, where it's like, what are my roles and my goals, right? So who am I, right? We're getting into being questions now. So Linda is, well, you've got these roles that you have in your life. Right now, I'm seeing your picture because you're not live on screen with us, but I'm seeing your picture holding your grandson. Is that?
Yes. Here I am.
Okay. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
looking slick, my friend. Yeah. You got some fresh drywall there. Is that what that is? You got wiring?
Yeah, I'm in a basement.
Oh, okay. Very good.
So anyways, but
okay.
yeah, it's just combining, it's trying to just combine everything that I do.
Okay, well, let's back up for a second, because I was just looking at the picture of your grandson, right? Okay. So one role would be that grandmother, or right, the parent or grandparent. I mean, I don't want to give you labels. You put your own labels where you like them. Okay, but that is a role. Okay, now what are the goals of that role? So roles and goals, right? Oh, well, the ideal Linda, the grandmother, has these are her products, right? Happy grandchildren, and maybe has something to do with educating them or being a good example. And I don't know, right? It's whatever. What is that? What is that role? I don't know. Right. So the purpose of that role should be considered and written down, and then goals enumerated, even if they're not things we can quantify, like money, business, or losing weight and fitness, right? So those are more quantifiable. Okay. But what is the end product of you fulfilling that role? Okay, that would be working on purpose, right? And then as we make these considerations, though, it's like, all right, so here's the goal. So think about this. We've got the role and we've got the goal. That's being and having. What's right in the middle? Doing. Being, having. What's right in the middle? Doing. Now we're finding the lanes, we're finding the pathways, because we consider who we are and we consider what's the product of all that, right? And now how do we connect that? Oh, I got an idea. This would be one bridge. There would be another bridge, right? So now we see all these bridges between being and having. What do you think of that?
I think that's awesome. It's a good way to look at it. Yep.
Wow. I just had a breakthrough. Linda, I never know what's going to come out of my mouth until I hear it. You know that. Thank you. You just helped me. You just helped me.
You just helped me too, John. So
oh my goodness. But here's the punchline. Here's the punchline. You are so able. Oh my freaking goodness, you are so able.
Yeah, I know. That knowing doing gap.
Yeah. Okay. Let's hear from Nicola, because I haven't heard from Nicola in a while, and I can't wait to hear from Nicola. Nicola.
I've missed this.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't realize how much actually until you come back. So this is good, getting my brain back in gear again. But I just liked that kind of end part of your conversation with Linda there about the bridge. Just really resonated with probably where my mind's been at the past 2 weeks. So my purpose is fairly clear, definitely not as succinct as yours, but when I left my corporate role way back when, 18 months ago now, it was always to help people on an emotional level to create more self-belief, self-worth, and to replace the coach and mentoring element I used to do in my previous role, but I didn't really know how. So I guess that's the B, fairly clear. The do, I wasn't sure of. So in lockdown, I set up the Nature and Nature business, starting to sell handmade wellbeing products, but always with that emotional wellbeing slant. And I ran that all of last year and learned a lot. Running your own business, all about the e-commerce world. But something it didn't tick all the boxes. There were certain things that I wanted out of my business that didn't give me. One of them was location freedom. And I soon started to realize doing your own handmade products from home, you're going to be pretty tied to your kitchen for a long time. And there's a few other aspects as well. It wasn't, because it was all done online, it's all e-commerce, I wasn't getting the people interaction that I wanted from it. So I knew something wasn't quite right, but I thought maybe I can just kind of pivot and do things a little bit differently, and it will kind of lead us where I wanted to get to. And then I started down the kind of meditation route with obviously lots of support from you guys, and that led me onto a slightly different path, which was to delve deeper into hypnotherapy, NLP, and life coaching. And that's where I've been the past, one of the weeks was to become certified in that. So being away just kind of gave me a bit of headspace and a bit of freedom to just take stock again of, well, what is my purpose and what am I really trying to achieve? And what I've decided, which was a big decision to make, is one of those, I just like the way the kind of analogy you used, one of those bridges to get where I wanted to was the Nature and Nature handmade wellbeing products. But I've actually decided that wasn't the right bridge and didn't. So your point earlier, to persist down that path or not, I've made the decision not to, which is a hard one to make. I've invested a lot in it, built up a brand, but realized it was going to take more energy than I think I would get reward for to continue down that route. So I'm going to temporarily close it down this week and focus all of my attention now on the hypnotherapy, life coaching side, because if I go back to my purpose and what kind of lifestyle I want from it, that ticks every box and I absolutely love it. It's just, I could do it all day long, could do it 24 hours a day. And so it just feels right. And I feel like that's the right bridge to get me from purpose or to kind of be to have. So that's the bridge I'm going to be going down. So just a nice timely topic, I think, to just reflect on, but it just shows you as well, I think, if you're in that position and a bit unsure and unclear, just getting some headspace away. I mean, last week wasn't a planned holiday, but I just felt I needed it. I had done 7 days intense training. I was unsure where I was going, but that headspace has really given me the clarity I need, and it feels good now to know exactly where I'm going, in which direction, inspiration's there again, and I'm kind of ready to go. So it's all served a very good purpose. I know a lot more than I did this time last year, and I'm now clear on where I'm going. I know which bridge I'm going down now. So
that feels good, right? Yeah, that feels good. Hey, Nicola, question, which maybe you've considered. With the nature brand, with the handmade items, is there a way to, rather than pause or stop that, to say, well, here's the momentum we already have, and here's somebody who's interested in it, here you go, you know?
I did briefly think of that, but I wasn't really sure where I would even go to kind of attract. Maybe I could even, so I'm thinking out like you're coaching me now, maybe I could put a post on social media, even just seeing if there's any interest.
Kind of like business in a box. Are you into crafts or nature? I mean, I don't know everything about that brand or its products, but it's already been created. Obviously, the biggest asset would be the book of business, the list of customers, And if that's not robust, then, maybe it's not worth much. But rather than stop it, if there's someone who just lit up and they were like, oh my goodness, I'm going to buy everything you've got. You'd be like, okay, you know what? Why don't we actually do that? Buy it all. Here you go. It's your company now. Go, go rock it. Pay me 10%. Done. Right.
No, it's definitely worth thinking about.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's quite an emotional thing to do this, but I know it's the right thing to do. So it's just kind of spending energy in the wrong place. But yeah,
Okay.
good shout. Thanks for that.
But yeah, because there are people, let's say you did have a big book of business, right? Here's all the customers. Here's the main asset, the list, right? And the goodwill that's been built up in the marketplace. Now that's a saleable enterprise, right? Here comes, the bigger company that says, what, we'll buy you out for 3 years revenue, right? And so now you've got statistics. You could say, here's what it's worth. But in this case, if it's not quite to that point, then if it's something that the others emotionally connect with, now you got leverage, right? Hey, you go do the craft thing, and yeah. In fact, don't even give me any money, right? If it's not worth anything right now, right? Besides the brand artwork and whatever you've created, cut me in for 10, 20%, whatever's amicable and.
All right.
What's the thought?
Yeah. No, it's good. Something to ponder.
Okay. Yeah. But you know what? Back to the celebration, and that is that you're feeling on purpose with the coaching that you're going to be doing, the assisting people and creating whatever they create via your coaching. So I just know that you're an esteemed member of this group. Nicola, remember us when you were rich and famous, right?
This is where it started.
There you go. It was good to see you. Always good. Glad you're back. Who else has some ideas you want to share on this? Any other ideas, thoughts, questions on getting out of a slump, reconnecting with purpose, and making it happen, crossing that bridge? And we've got Allie out here. Hi, Allie. Good to see you.
Hi there. Hi. Yeah, just really connect with this. And that honeymoon period last year of just being so up there and excited, and I think belief, a lot of belief, and then some reality sets in. I've definitely had to keep trying to keep up there, which has been hard at times. I think where I'm at now, I've been busy sowing lots of seeds, and I know I've said that in the past, and I think I can see that I'm just not doing the doing. I mean, I'm at it all the time, but I'm not somehow. I think I'm getting stuck on certain tech things that's stopping me move forward, and I think I've got too many different things, and so it's just I know where we've talked about it all, and I know what I should be doing. I know I should be focused on one thing. I know, but it's difficult when there's lots of opportunities, and to just again know which is the right thing, which is the right bridge to go down, which is to really focus on, which is there's all that thing of climbing up the ladder and realizing you're on the wrong wall, all of those things, and it's hard to know exactly which one is the one to really focus on.
My crystal ball has been on back order for a long time, so I guess it comes down to two things: what feels right, and what bears fruit, right? So if we're just looking at like what Nicola just talked about, right? She could continue to run that other brand with the nature products and such, but she realizes that is not as purposeful for her as this other thing where she can really live her purpose. And it's a different product, it's a different end result, and of course it's a different action to get a different product. But based on who she's decided she is, that's the one that's resonating. Okay, so that's an indicator, right? That could be one of the things that we hear from the crystal ball, right? You need to go do this. Okay, cool. So that could be, we could also call that a hunch. Okay, but the other thing would be statistically, if we could see, all right, that is, I'll give you an example for me. I've got various products that I create. I have books, okay, and I make, I don't know, $7 or $8 or something when somebody buys a book on Amazon. Yay, right? By the way, I've done no promotion of that whatsoever, and thousands of copies have sold, right? Imagine if I actually promoted it, but that's not the main thing, right? Here's this other stuff that I do, my consulting work, right? And that is something that pays a lot more than $8. And it's something that I've also, like what you're talking about, Ali, I've also looked at it and thought, well, it's not the super high leverage stuff that I want, but my goodness, it's exponentially more profitable than the book thing, unless I was a full-time author and like that's my gig, right? But apparently it's not. Okay. And then there's other things, other products that I've created, things that I can produce, right? I'm working on one now this month. And these are things that are more high leverage. These are evergreen, we could say. These are things that, once it's created, and we could just, promote that and increase the customer base and do those things. I may be a little bit vague right now, but I'm trying to give you three different methods, three different strategies, right? So here's like a low ticket, high leverage thing. Here's a high ticket, low leverage thing. And now I'm looking at a high leverage, let's say multi-ticket thing, right? So building sort of an empire over here. Is there something that resonates with you where you could say, you know what, that would be statistically a really good move, not just now, but also into the future? And whether we're talking e-commerce or are we talking e-commerce, Ali? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that one aspect is e-commerce. Yeah, another affiliate marketing, that route as well. But yeah, I suppose basically that's e-commerce as well, isn't it?
Okay, two very different worlds. Okay, so affiliate marketing and e-commerce, very different. I have this. I've got a friend who's a brilliant pianist in Los Angeles, and he was. We were talking the other day. Real good guy. We were talking the other day about his work, and he does well. He makes a 6-figure income as a musician in a lockdown state. He still makes a 6-figure income, right? So the guy is really good at what he does. And we talked about maybe doing online piano lessons or something. That's not really his thing. We talked about some other things, and he brought up this person who is an artist also, doing vocal. I'm not sure their music, but he pointed me towards their content, and there's imagery, there's like all this. Basically, it's marketing, it's PR, it's an act, right? It's like an experience. It's not just they got nice music. My friend, the pianist, has nice music, right? But there's something more to it. There's an experience. There's an aura. There's and now we need to buy all the accessories, right? Because you can't just listen to the music. You got to have the T-shirt, and you got to have all the other limited edition, stuff. I remember when I was I know I'm getting pretty far afield of what you're doing right now, Ali, but when I was a young teenager, I don't know, 12, 13 years old, I joined the Van Halen fan club, the official fan club. And I got the shirt, and I got the necklace with the VH, right? And I got the pictures of the guys. They were not actually signed, but it has kind of like their signature on it. It's all part of the print, right? And I was an official bona fide member of the Van Halen fan club, right? So what was that? That was, I was buying in to an experience, to an idea, something really intangible that they monetized in a way that was super high leverage. Eddie Van Halen recently died, by the way. Was that last year? But yeah, I don't know if that is helpful at all, but the idea that these guys did it like full steam ahead. And by the way, they didn't do it alone, right? It's not like, they just sprang up out of the ground and they were like these superstars of, rock and roll. There was, effort and marketing and people got paid and, lots of money. So if it's worth doing, I think it's worth doing at full throttle. And I say that as a guy who hasn't gone full throttle in other areas, right? Why haven't I promoted my books? Why haven't I written more books? Why, right? Where's my reservations on that? I think, Ali, you could be successful at anything. You just got to make a decision. But I would say affiliate marketing, and I know we got people into network marketing here. That's another world, right? We got people into obviously e-commerce. That's another world. Here's a question, Ali. Are you more like a people person? Like you like talking to people, like, hey, how you doing, Bob? Or are you more like, I just want to look at the computer screen and look at the statistics and see how many units sold and then source more product or something. So which direction would you be more inclined to go in?
That's an interesting one. I don't like selling to people, which is a bit of a problem. I'd rather sell just on the computer and do it all on the computer, but I love interacting with people. So
okay, you like interacting with people, you just don't like selling them.
Yeah.
Did anybody else hear that? Did anybody else hear that? Nicola, do you like interacting with people? Can we get Nicola out here? I think this is going to be awesome. Nicola, do you like interacting with people?
Yes, love it.
Oh, okay. And is it okay if they exchange some money with you when you interact with them?
Yes. You'll
accept the money?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. So, Ali, where's the stop here?
Yeah, I mean,
I like interacting with people. I just don't want to sell them anything. Oh, sell me that some more. Come on, Ali, convince me. I'm not yet sold.
Well, but you can have interactions. You can have interactions with people, and it not be a sales pitch, can't you? You can like interact with people.
I don't know. I look, every conversation I ever have, there's like, ideas that are shared and transferred, agreed with, disagreed with. Every agreement we could say would be a sale. Nice day today. Yeah, it is. Sold. Or hey, how's it going? Well, I got a little bit of problem. Something I can help you with, perhaps? Oh, yeah. Okay. Hey, thanks for your help, man. Sold. I think maybe, Ali, it's just a matter of getting over the whole word, sell. I know it's a 4-letter word and all, but it's just a transfer of enthusiasm. You like interacting with people. If people are more enthusiastic after talking to you than before they did, how do you monetize that?
Can I just share my,
Yes.
So I came out of the training last Monday and I got my first paid hypnotherapy client the day after. And you can imagine, I know Ali quite well, so you'll know up until probably that point, I was in a similar place to you, but so nervous about having because I did like a 15-minute pre-consultation. It was a weight loss client. It's not something I can really resonate with myself. But we had a really good discussion about it, got quite, deep emotional stuff. And at the end of it, I realized I didn't have a clue what my prices were. So I made something up off the top of my head, like a package. I thought, rather than just one, we'll go for a package. And she was over the moon at the price, signed up there and then, paid straight away. And it was such a good feeling because it was a nice conversation. And at the end of it, she walked away. She was thanking me. She felt like it was something which was going to move her to where she wanted to get to. So the fact that there was an exchange of money at the end was just it was a non-issue, if you know, because like you say, I didn't feel like I was selling to her. And I think if there hadn't have been an exchange of money and she didn't walk away with a service or a package or whatever, a program, it wouldn't have been as satisfying for her or for me. So it really has. I know it's just kind of one example, but it's really helped to just change my kind of perception of what selling is all about. It's the first time I've ever had to sell a service to somebody over the phone, and it actually felt really good.
Wow. Wow. Congratulations, Nicola. So there's another aspect to this, Ali, and this goes two ways, right? Is that what Nicola just said about exchange, right? There are people who feel down on themselves because they take more than they give, right? This could even be observed in like children, right? Where they've been stopped from contributing to the family and, all that. This is why actually, cleaning up your room and listening to your mom is like really good stuff, because then that you're doing the high ethics, contributions as well, not just sitting around eating everyone's food, right? So there's a lot of psychology that goes into this, but can't cover it all here now. But think about that, giving someone an opportunity to exchange with you. And I know, Ali, in your case, you're not selling professional services and coaching, although maybe that's the direction you go in at some point. But right now, just if you like interacting with people and you can induce a higher emotional state in someone else, having met you, and I mean, I like talking to you all the time, right? So yeah, is that worth money? Yeah. In fact, you're almost obligated to accept their money. Otherwise, you leave them with a situation where they didn't properly exchange with you. Now, they're less than, right? So I don't know, just something to consider. Again, there's a lot that goes into this. But Ali, nothing happens till somebody sells something. Nothing happens. Anyway, yeah. I love you. You're awesome. Thank you for being here. Wow, what an interesting conversation we're having today. Yeah. Ali, you good with that? Oh, you just muted? You're good? Okay. Thank you, Nicola, for your perspectives as well. We got Cyril and Edward, and then we're probably going to be out of time. Hey, Cyril, come on out, my friend.
Hi, how you doing? You okay?
Okay.
Excuse me, I'm shopping at the moment. I wanted to say that selling is not my favorite thing to do. Excuse me, sorry. But I have actually purposely put myself into companies to learn how to sell, get them to teach me, and also to get easier and try and get better and a better feeling from it. And what I found was, first of all, was that when I did, I really never did enjoy selling at all. But apart from when I was selling for charity, I was doing telesales. That was the best feeling I'd had so far from selling, because I got a good feeling from that. The other thing was that when I can't remember what it was, but I actually did some negotiating for a particular company at one point, and I found that I enjoyed and found fun. And although it's selling, it was negotiating. It was the psychology of trying to get the best price for who I was working for. I think actually it might have even been myself. So negotiating, because it's a slightly different process when you're negotiating rather than actually having to find, because you've already sold in reality. In negotiating, you're just trying to work out the best price for both parties. So that I found far more fun.
Beautiful. Hey, where are you, Cyril?
I'm on Camden High Street in London.
Wow, you got sun? There's a blue sky and sun in London?
We do have a bit. Yeah, we do have a bit.
Crikey. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing this moment with us. Thanks, Cyril. Always good to hear from you, my friend.
You too. You too.
All right. Hey, let's get Edward out here and let's wrap up. Hey, Edward, how are you, brother?
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good.
I want to kind of address what Ali was talking about because I've dealt with that before, and I had to change my perspective on everything. Number one, I had to realize that I have something of value. I have something that will change this person's perspective on their life, where they're going. So know that you have value in what your offer is. That's number one. And then number two, you're looking for people who can make a decision to join your crusade, join your like-mind idea. So basically you become a decision collector. So instead of a salesperson, you're a decision collector. That's a perspective that helps me. And then one great thing that I've incorporated is something I got from you, John, the bozo on the bus theory, okay? Because the deal is, you know what you have, you know the value of what you have, you know the impact that it'll make. And the people that don't see it, I always use the mantra of the bozo on the bus. I say, let me go ahead and change my screen. And I have these bozos that I have images that I have. And what I do is I'll put the bozo up and I'll say, oh, another bozo. And I keep on going because it's very therapeutic to understand that you're growing, you're changing, you're becoming, and they're not. So you just kind of play it off and say another bozo. So no detriment to anyone, whether they see it or not, but it's just for your own psyche. And that's what I do.
Everett, are you saying that you show people a picture of an actual clown?
No, I show myself.
Oh, okay.
The actual clown, because I look at it like they don't see it. That's why they don't see it.
Okay.
They're bozo,
Got it. So yeah, collecting decisions, that's a powerful concept, right? It's like, now that you've enlightened the prospect, they could either continue to suffer or they could choose to participate.
Absolutely.
And I know what product you sell, right? So that is something where you're actually attempting to assist them financially. So that's sounds like a pretty good investment if they're, a proper candidate for it. That being said, the relieving yourself of the seriousness of it with the clown photos, I remember, oh man, did you get that from Shannon? I think Shannon trained on that like 20 something years ago. That might have been.
I could have gotten it from the Black Belt Marketing Call. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
But it's just, it's a stress reliever because sometimes you go through 10, 15 people who just don't get it. So what you got to do is you got to make sure that you continue on your journey on what you're doing, because you got to go. And you want to fill out all of your goals. So how do you fill out all your goals? By continuing. One of the things you were saying today is full throttle always. That's it. You got to get it done, and you got to be impervious to how you feel and the circumstances and all that sort of thing.
Right. Thank you, Edward.
Thank you.
Good times. Wow, look at that. We're coming up on the top of the hour. That just happened, everyone. So this is how we get out of a rut. Great ideas, great insights today, great sharing. Thank you all. We're going to be back here at 3:00 for e-commerce work group. So tune in for that. And then 9 p.m. Eastern, chapter 4 through 7, Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics. And we all good? Everybody good? Yeah? Okay. Have an awesome day.